So there's kind of a dichotomy that occurs once you understand that all human behavior is attributable to signaling in a rich civilized society like ours. This is accounting for about 90% if you are being very conservative about this, and assume that 10% of your behavior includes things like urinating or scratching an itch. Humans can be good. That's one view that usually depends on the good being cashed out as sort of an epiphenomenon. That, however, is impossible because at all times you are signaling. You are attempting to negotiate status within particular status hierarchies, and one of the tools that you have at your disposal is to signal your moral commitment to something. So, in the absence of being able to climb to that particular location in the status hierarchy that you want, in the absence of being able to get there through intelligence or through aggression, you signal morality. So, morality could be something which results in depression, even when you are attempting really hard to get somewhere and or stay somewhere. So, for instance, when you are depressed, your entire organism is epigenetically regulated so as to move slowly. And moving slowly, having drooping eyelids, all of these things indicate to potential competitors that you are not really competing against them through the other means. So they can feel free to not waste their energy and resources competing against you. So that's a compromise that you are engaging in. We are constantly engaging in these compromising activities. At the moment, I am signaling. I am attempting to negotiate my status within a particular, with regards to something that I believe to be assessing me. So if I didn't believe that I was being assessed, I wouldn't be doing anything. And that sort of constraining of possibility into that which is lived occurs for biological reasons. It's that which you perceive to be adaptive. So, for instance, I could be speaking another language right now. I know other languages. Why am I speaking English? Why am I speaking English in the particular way that I am, using the vocabulary that I am, exploring the niche that I'm exploring? All of these things are calculated to be adaptive so that I could gain the status that I want. This is what you're doing all the time, no matter what. So, morality, in that regard, all your moral emotions, even if they are occurring and being emitted to only to yourself and to the four walls around you, as opposed to actual competitors or potential allies in your vicinity, all of this occurs because you are better able to express your particular strategy, your particular role that you're taking on as an attempt to negotiate status when you are deceived about your hidden motives. When you yourself are deceived, you are better at expressing them. So, can humans be good in that context? Yes, you could still be good. You could be good in the sense that the values that were expressed by one particular status hierarchy are going to be outcompeted by the other values. Ultimately, that which survives is that which is good. This brings to mind perhaps a view of the Eastern Orthodox Christians, which is that everyone goes to heaven, but only those that love God enjoy it. And that may seem like the most evil thing to say, and it is pretty evil if your particular morality is being taken seriously at the moment. Then you perceive what I am saying to be evil, because I'm sort of exposing it. It's like exposing that Santa is not the one bringing you presents, but after all, you still get presents. So there's still a compatibilist view here to be had, in the same way that you could have a compatibilist view on free will, in which you say, well, yes, I am the laws of physics, but the laws of physics choose to be free. Ha! So that's really it. You could also choose to say, yes, humans are always signaling, and nonetheless I still choose to impress this particular status hierarchy. Of course, the more sort of different that you perceive yourself to be, you might think that the morality that you have was designed by yourself, that it was different, but of course it wasn't. If you were a little Spanish boy in the forest, and your neuron activity was simulating the wolves around you, and you had to impress those wolves, your morality would be absolutely irrecognizable from someone who has different mental models and therefore experiences different qualia, because they are trying to impress a very different group of people. So you could be in 18th century Greenland, you could be just some other organism in the entire multiverse. And another thing, it's a hazard to expose yourself to the true status hierarchy. So this is what I did. Seeing that there was just an arbitrary amount of status hierarchies, I went to the true one. I asked, okay, which one is the true one? Because obviously all of these people are just being sucked up to their near signaling landscape, and the same is probably true for all other organisms that exist everywhere. So the true one must be the one in which I am just a tiny little mind configuration in the multiverse of all possible experiences. And that leaves you with a horrible feeling, which is a feeling that you are randomly misallocated. Because obviously my experience is not the best possible experiences out of all the physical paradises that actually exist. And you know that they exist. It's not just something that is insinuated in the same way that perhaps you walk into a theater in 2009 and watch the movie Avatar, and there are these amazing adventures with glowing trees and blue people, and then you walk out and then you think, oh wow, my life sucks compared to that. And you do feel it, but it's not as bad as when you really understand that it's true. Like there are things that are paradise out there, and you are not there. At the same time, the status hierarchy that I was attempting to impress was one in which suffering was considered a bad thing, and irredeemably so. So when you import those values into the true hierarchy of being, then you are left with no option but to die and be reborn into one of the other ones again, because you realize that suffering is infinite and that it is eternal because of relativity. So there's nothing that you could ever do to those particular regions of reality that are experiencing suffering for whatever reason. So then you die. Otherwise, you stay in a state of tragedy, which is impossible. You are eventually just reborn into that which survives and likes to survive. So there's going to be a natural selection over all these status hierarchies. It remains to be seen which values actually do end up being the most adaptive.